The 1970s killed the muscle car, but before emissions regulations and insurance companies strangled America's performance dreams completely, Detroit built machines so powerful, so primitive, and so downright dangerous that they terrified even experienced drivers. Today, we're counting down the 9 most dangerous 70s muscle cars ever made. From Mopar monsters with brakes from family sedans, to big block Chevys that could incinerate tires at will. These machines pack tremendous power into chassis never designed to contain it, creating legends that both thrilled and killed. Number 9, 1971, Dodge Charger Super B, 446-pack. Starting our countdown at number 9 is a machine that proved straight-line speed meant nothing without the ability to stop or turn. The 1971 Dodge Charger Super B 446-pack arrived with a 440 cubic inch V8, topped with 3 4-barrel carburetors, generating 440 horsepower, 385 horsepower. Running the quarter mile in approximately 14 seconds flat, this heavyweight combined tremendous acceleration with handling and braking systems completely overwhelmed by the power they attempted to control. Dodge built the Charger Super B as a budget muscle car, maximum performance at minimum cost. The strategy prioritized power over everything else. Brakes, adequate for the base model, but dangerously insufficient for the 446-pack. Suspension, designed for comfortable highway cruising rather than aggressive driving. Tires, budget rubber that surrendered grip long before the engine exhausted its thrust. The 440 cubic inch V8 displaced exactly what its name advertised through Chrysler's proven B-block architecture. 3 Holley 2-barrel carburetors fed fuel sequentially. The center carb handled normal driving, while the outboards opened under hard acceleration. 385 horses represented conservative rating that protected insurance premiums, while the true output probably exceeded 400 honest ponies. The torque curve resembled a plateau. 490 pound-feet arrived early and stayed forever. The 4-speed manual transmission required genuine skill to operate smoothly. The clutch pedal demanded real leg strength, while the shifter needed deliberate effort. First gear proved nearly useless for anything except parking lot crawling. Experienced drivers launched in second to avoid overwhelming tire grip completely. The 3-speed automatic option made the Super B slightly more manageable while sacrificing engagement. The danger emerged when physics met enthusiasm. The Charger's substantial weight, nearly 4,000 pounds, required serious braking effort. The standard drum brakes overheated quickly during aggressive driving. Panic stops from high speeds created terrifying moments when pedal effort produced minimal deceleration. Smart buyers ordered optional front disc brakes, though even those struggled containing the Super B's momentum. The handling characteristics terrified drivers accustomed to nimble sports cars. The solid rear axle with leaf springs created unpredictable behavior during hard cornering. Weight transfer during acceleration lifted the front end, reducing steering authority to suggestions rather than commands. The long wheelbase and substantial overhangs meant tight corners required planning 3 turns ahead. Today, Super B survivors represent the dangerous edge of muscle car extremism. These machines delivered brutal acceleration without corresponding improvements in handling or braking. The 446-pack proved that sometimes more power just creates bigger problems when chassis development can't keep pace with engine advancement. Number 8, 1970, Buick GSX Stage 1. Moving up to number 8 brings a machine wrapped in outrageous appearance, hiding genuinely dangerous performance. The 1970 Buick GSX Stage 1 arrived painted in Apollo white or Saturn yellow, with bold graphics announcing its presence. With a 455 cubic inch V8 generating 360 horsepower and 510 pound-feet of torque through a 4-speed manual transmission, this heavyweight ran the quarter mile in approximately 13.9 seconds while teaching painful lessons about traction management. Buick traditionally built comfortable cruisers for professionals who valued refinement over excitement. The GSX represented complete departure from that philosophy. The Stage 1 package transformed the GS into something genuinely intimidating that combined luxury appointments with performance credentials. that embarrassed supposedly sportier competitors. The 455 cubic inch V8 represented Buick's largest production engine. 360 horses seemed modest until the torque arrived. 510 pound-feet at 2,800 RPM created low-end thrust that overwhelmed traction completely. The engine barely needed to rev, delivering crushing acceleration from idle to redline without ever seeming stressed. This wasn't peaky power requiring high RPMs. This was relentless shove that never ended. The 4-speed manual transmission featured close-ratio gearing that kept the big Buick in its power band. The Hurst shifter delivered precise action that enhanced driver control. The clutch pedal required serious leg strength, reminding drivers they controlled something genuinely powerful. Most buyers chose the 3-speed automatic that better suited the engine's massive torque curve. The danger manifested immediately upon throttle application. Even with the optional Positraction limited slip differential, the GSX could break rear tires loose at will, regardless of speed or gear. Second gear, tire smoke. Third gear, more tire smoke. Fourth gear on the highway, still tire smoke if you wanted. The bold graphics created visibility problems of different sort. Saturn yellow with black stripes ensured every police officer within 3 counties noticed your presence. The appearance attracted attention. The performance absolutely justified, creating situations where discretion would have served better than flamboyance. Today, GSX Stage 1 survivors command strong collector interest. The combination of outrageous styling, massive torque, and genuine rarity creates package that appreciates steadily. These machines proved that luxury brands could build genuinely dangerous performance cars when priorities aligned correctly, even if the chassis couldn't fully contain what the engine delivered. Number 7. 1971 AMC Javelin AMX 401. Reaching number 7 sits the overlooked underdog that proved AMC could build genuinely dangerous muscle cars. The 1971 AMC Javelin AMX 401 arrived with a 401 cubic inch V8, generating 330 horsepower through a 4-speed manual transmission, running the quarter mile in approximately 14.5 seconds. This machine combined respectable power with chassis dynamics that created unpredictable handling, requiring constant vigilance from drivers who valued survival. AMC operated on budgets smaller than what GM divisions spent on advertising campaigns. Building muscle cars required creative parts bin engineering and compromises that sometimes created dangerous combinations. The Javelin AMX represented AMC's best effort to compete against Detroit's Big Three, creating something compelling despite limited resources. The 401 cubic inch V8 represented AMC's largest production engine. 330 horses seemed modest compared to big block Mopars and Chevys, but the 401 delivered respectable performance from honest engineering. The 2-barrel carburetor fed adequate fuel while maintaining reasonable economy. The torque curve provided usable thrust across broad RPM ranges without requiring constant downshifting. The 4-speed manual transmission delivered adequate shift action without the precision Detroit's transmissions offered. The clutch effort remained moderate, making the AMX manageable in traffic. The close ratio gearing kept the engine working in its power band, though wider ratio spreads might have served better for relaxed cruising. The danger emerged from chassis limitations rather than excessive power. AMC's budget constraints meant suspension components shared duty across multiple platforms. The Javelin's independent front suspension and leaf spring rear axle delivered adequate handling during normal driving. Aggressive inputs created unpredictable responses that caught inexperienced drivers completely by surprise. The braking system struggled with the Javelin's weight and performance. The standard drum brakes faded quickly during aggressive driving. Optional front discs improved stopping power but couldn't overcome fundamental platform limitations. Panic stops required planning 3 intersections ahead. Today, Javelin AMX survivors occupy curious position in collector markets. These machines lack the cachet of GM or Mopar muscle, despite delivering genuine performance. The 401's unpredictable handling characteristics create challenges for modern drivers accustomed to electronic aids. The AMX proved that dangerous didn't require overwhelming power. Inadequate chassis development could create threats even moderate engines couldn't overcome. Number 6. 1970 Pontiac GTO Judge Ram Air 4. Breaking into the top half at number 6 is the machine that combined outrageous graphics with genuinely dangerous performance. The 1970 Pontiac GTO Judge Ram Air 4 arrived painted in bright colors with bold stripes announcing its presence. With a 400 cubic inch V8 topped with Ram air induction, generating 370 horsepower through a 4-speed manual transmission, this heavyweight ran the quarter mile in approximately 14.2 seconds, while delivering power in ways that caught unprepared drivers completely by surprise. Pontiac created the Judge as a budget GTO, stripped-down performance without luxury appointments that added weight and cost. The name referenced Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In television show, creating cultural connection that resonated with young buyers who valued performance over prestige. The Judge delivered maximum muscle car experience at minimum price. The 400 cubic inch V8 displaced exactly what Pontiac advertised through their legendary engineering. The Ram Air 4 package added functional hood scoops, feeding cold outside air directly into the engine, increasing density and power. 370 horses represented honest rating without the sandbagging that characterized some manufacturers' claims. The engine breathed through round port cylinder heads that flowed massive amounts of air. The power delivery created the danger. The Ram Air 4 featured aggressive camshaft timing that created lumpy idle and narrow power band. Below 3,000 RPM, the engine felt lazy and unresponsive. Above 3,000 RPM, the 4 suddenly woke up with violent urgency that caught inexperienced drivers completely unprepared. The transition from docile to dangerous happened instantly without warning. The 4-speed manual transmission required skill to manage properly. The clutch pedal demanded real leg strength. The shifter needed deliberate effort, though the Hurst mechanism provided better action than corporate offerings. Getting the Judge moving smoothly required matching engine speed to road speed precisely. Mistakes meant either bogging the engine or spinning the tires. The chassis struggled containing the Ram Air 4's aggressive power delivery. The GTO's intermediate platform prioritized comfort over handling precision. Body roll remained excessive despite suspension upgrades. The steering felt numb at center before suddenly becoming responsive. Weight transfer during acceleration lifted the front end dramatically, reducing steering authority when drivers needed it most. The heavy body, over 3,700 pounds, created momentum that brakes struggled to contain. The standard drums faded quickly. Optional front discs improved stopping but couldn't overcome physics. High-speed stops required significant distance and driver courage to maintain pedal pressure as effectiveness diminished. The bold graphics ensured visibility from blocks away. Orbit orange, carousel red, or palladium silver, with contrasting stripes, attracted attention the performance absolutely justified. Every police officer noticed Judges, creating situations where discretion would have served better than flamboyance. The appearance rote checks the chassis couldn't always cache safely. Today, Judge Ram Air 4 survivors command strong collector interest despite their dangerous characteristics. The combination of outrageous styling, legendary Ram Air engine, and genuine rarity creates a package that appreciates steadily. These machines prove that Pontiac could build exciting muscle cars, even when chassis development lagged behind engine advancement, creating legends that thrilled and terrified equally. Number 5. 1970 Oldsmobile 4 42W30. Claiming position 5 is the machine that proved torque could be more dangerous than horsepower. The 1970 Oldsmobile 4 42W30 arrived with a 455 cubic inch V8, generating 370 horsepower and 500 pound-feet of torque through a 4-speed manual transmission. Running the quarter mile in approximately 14 seconds flat, this Oldsmobile combined massive low-end thrust with rear suspension that couldn't contain it and brakes that couldn't stop it. Oldsmobile built the 442 as their performance flagship throughout the 60s, continuously improving the formula through experience and competition. By 1970, the W30 package represented ultimate development of the concept, creating something genuinely impressive and thoroughly dangerous when driven enthusiastically. The 455 cubic inch V8 represented Oldsmobile's largest displacement offering, 370 horses seemed modest until the torques arrived. 500 pound-feet at 3,200 RPM created low-end shove that overwhelmed everything. The engine barely needed to rev, delivering crushing acceleration from idle without ever seeming stressed or working hard. The W30 package added functional cold air induction through aggressive fiberglass hood with twin scoops. The aluminum intake manifold reduced weight while improving breathing. The camshaft featured aggressive timing that created choppy idle announcing performance intentions. Everything about the W30 prioritized maximum output over refinement or civility. The 4-speed manual transmission struggled managing all that torque. First gear proved almost useless. Launching created either bog or wheel spin with nothing between extremes. Experienced drivers learned to start in second gear to maintain some control. The clutch required leg strength that made traffic driving exhausting. The Hurst shifter provided precise action that represented the drivetrain's best feature. The danger manifested through rear-end instability. The solid axle with inadequate damping created wheel hop during hard acceleration. The tires broke loose unpredictably, sending the 442 sideways without warning. Correcting required quick reflexes and understanding of weight transfer that most drivers lacked completely. Overcorrection made things worse, creating tank slapper oscillations. The chassis exhibited typical intermediate platform limitations. Body roll remained excessive despite suspension upgrades. The steering felt vague at center position. The combination of massive torque, primitive suspension, and inadequate brakes created dangerous machine requiring respect and skill. The W30 rewarded smooth inputs and punished aggression with consequences ranging from embarrassing to expensive to fatal. Today, W3442s represent peak Oldsmobile performance before emissions regulations killed everything enthusiasts valued. Clean survivors command strong collector interest despite their dangerous characteristics. These machines prove that torque could be more challenging than horsepower. The W30's relentless low-end shove created problems chassis development couldn't solve with period technology and budget constraints. Number 4, 1971. Ford Mustang Boss 351. Surging into metal contention at number 4 sits the high-revving machine that demanded skill and attention. The 1971 Ford Mustang Boss 351 arrived with a 351 cubic inch Cleveland V8, generating 330 horsepower through a 4-speed manual transmission, running the quarter mile in approximately 14.1 seconds. This Mustang combined aggressive engine characteristics with larger, heavier body-creating combination that challenged even experienced drivers. Ford redesigned the Mustang for 1971, creating larger, heavier platform that prioritized style over substance. The Boss 351 represented Ford's effort to maintain performance credentials despite platform growth that added hundreds of pounds without corresponding chassis improvements. The result delivered excitement wrapped in package that required constant vigilance. The 351 Cleveland V8 featured 4-bolt main bearing caps, solid lifters, and aggressive camshaft timing, creating engine that loved high RPMs. 330 horses arrived at 5,200 RPM. This wasn't low-end torque monster, but screamer requiring revs to deliver performance. The power curve climbed continuously, rewarding drivers who kept the engine spinning above 4,000 RPM. The high revving nature created the danger. Below 3,000 RPM, the Boss felt lazy and unresponsive. Above 4,000, it transformed into something genuinely quick that demanded attention and skill. The narrow power band required constant gear changing to maintain momentum. Inexperienced drivers who lugged the engine found disappointing performance. Those who kept it singing discovered genuine excitement mixed with genuine danger. The 4-speed manual transmission featured wide ratio spacing that didn't suit the engine's characteristics. The gaps between gears meant either over-revving or lugging. Finding the sweet spot required skill most drivers lacked. The clutch effort remained moderate, though the vague shifter action frustrated attempts at quick gear changes. The chassis struggled with the increased weight and dimensions. The 1971 Mustang weighed significantly more than earlier models, without corresponding suspension improvements. Body roll became excessive during aggressive cornering. The steering felt numb at center before suddenly becoming responsive. The combination created unpredictable handling that caught drivers by surprise. The twitchy handling characteristics magnified every mistake. The solid rear axle with leaf springs created unpredictable behavior during hard cornering. Weight transfer lifted the inside rear wheel, breaking traction suddenly. Correcting required quick reflexes. Overcorrection made things worse. The boss rewarded smooth inputs and punished aggression with consequences ranging from embarrassing to expensive. The braking system struggled, containing the larger Mustang's momentum. The front discs and rear drums provided adequate stopping during normal driving. Aggressive use created fade that arrived quickly and lasted extensively. High-speed stops required significant distance and courage to maintain pedal pressure as effectiveness diminished progressively. The limited safety features created additional danger. No anti-lock brakes, no traction control, no stability systems. Nothing intervened between driver decisions and physical consequences. The boss demanded skill and attention that modern drivers accustomed to electronic aids completely lack. Mistakes generated immediate feedback that ranged from frightening to fatal. Today, Boss 351 survivors represent final year of genuine Boss Mustangs before emissions killed everything. The combination of high-revving Cleveland engine, larger, heavier body, and primitive chassis creates a package that challenges modern collectors. These machines prove that dangerous doesn't require overwhelming power. Inadequate chassis development and mismatched components create threats moderate engines deliver eagerly. Number 3. 1970 Dodge Challenger RT HEMI. Breaking into the metal positions at number 3 is the heavy Mopar that prioritized straight-line speed over everything else. The 1970 Dodge Challenger RT Hemi arrived with the legendary 426 Hemi V8, generating 425 horsepower through either 4-speed manual or 3-speed automatic transmission. Running the quarter mile in approximately 13.9 seconds, this heavyweight combined tremendous acceleration with handling and braking that seemed borrowed from family sedans, creating a beautiful, dangerous machine that thrilled and terrified equally. Dodge created the Challenger as their entry into the pony car wars, arriving late to fight already decided by Mustang and Camaro dominance. The Challenger prioritized style and comfort over lightweight agility, creating a larger, heavier platform than competitors offered. Adding the HEMI created a combination that emphasized strengths while magnifying weaknesses dramatically. The power delivery was brutal and relentless. The Hemi didn't build power gradually. It arrived with violence that caught unprepared drivers by surprise. Throttle position directly controlled tire destruction. Quarter throttle, tire smoke, half throttle, more tire smoke, full throttle, complete traction loss, regardless of speed or gear. The HEMI simply generated more power than available tire technology could contain. The transmission choices offered different compromises. The 4-speed manual required genuine skill managing the clutch and shifter, while the HEMI's power tried spinning tires through every gear. The 3-speed torque flight automatic made the Challenger slightly more manageable by letting the torque converter absorb some shock, though it couldn't prevent traction loss completely. The chassis represented the real danger. The Challenger weighed over 3,800 pounds, hundreds more than Mustangs or Camaros. The additional mass required serious braking effort the standard drums couldn't provide. Even optional front disc brakes struggled containing the HEMI Challenger's momentum during panic stops from illegal speeds. The handling characteristics terrified drivers accustomed to European sports cars. The solid rear axle with leaf springs created unpredictable behavior during aggressive cornering. The heavy nose from the massive Hemi created understeer that required planning corners 3 turns ahead. The vague steering offered minimal feedback about front tire grip levels. Everything about the chassis suggested highway cruising rather than aggressive driving. The combination of tremendous power, substantial weight, and primitive chassis created a machine that rewarded straight-line acceleration while punishing attempts at anything requiring direction changes. The Hemi Challenger dominated drag strips while struggling on road courses, where nimble competitors danced circles around the heavy Dodge. The danger multiplied when enthusiastic drivers ignored physics. The Hemi's tremendous power could overcome the chassis' limitations through pure force, but consequences arrived quickly. Spinning tires mid-corner created sudden rotation. Lifting throttle during oversteer snapped the rear around violently. Every mistake generated immediate feedback that modern electronic aids would prevent entirely. Today, Hemi Challenger survivors command astronomical prices from collectors who recognize their significance, despite dangerous characteristics. The combination of legendary engine, beautiful styling, and genuine rarity creates package that appreciates continuously. These machines prove that sometimes too much power creates problems chassis development can't solve, creating legends that killed as many dreams as they fulfilled. Number 2, 1970 Chevrolet Chevelle SS 454 LS6. Claiming runner-up honors is the machine that represented absolute peak muscle car development before everything died. The 1970 Chevrolet Chevelle SS 454 LS6 arrived with a 454 cubic inch V8, generating 450 horsepower and 500 pound-feet of torque through a 4-speed manual transmission, running the quarter mile in approximately 13.8 seconds at 108 miles per hour. This Chevelle combined overwhelming power with handling and braking systems completely inadequate for the performance delivered, creating the most dangerous production Chevrolet ever sold to unsuspecting public. Chevrolet lifted its long-standing restriction limiting intermediate cars to 400 cubic inches maximum displacement, allowing the 454 into the Chevelle for 1970 only. The timing proved perfect and tragic. This represented muscle car performance peak, before insurance companies and emissions regulations killed everything enthusiasts valued. The LS6 created legend that lasted 1 year before disappearing forever. The 454 cubic inch big block displaced exactly what its name advertised. The LS6 package added Holley 800 CFM 4-barrel carburetor, forged internals, solid lifter valve train, an 11.25-to-1 compression-creating engine that generated honest 450 horses at 5,600 RPM. Many believed Chevrolet underrated the LS6, protecting insurance premiums. Dyno testing suggested true output exceeded 500 horsepower. 500 pound-feet of torque at 3,600 RPM created acceleration that overwhelmed everything. The low-end shove felt relentless and endless. The LS6 barely needed to rev, delivering crushing thrust from idle to redline without ever seeming stressed. This wasn't peaky power requiring high RPMs. This was brutal force that arrived immediately and never quit. The danger manifested through complete inability to maintain traction. Even with Positraction limited slip differential and period's best F7014 Firestone wide oval tires, the LS6 Chevelle could break tires loose at will, regardless of speed or gear. First gear, immediate wheel spin. Second gear, more wheel spin. Third gear, still wheel spin if throttle application exceeded caution. The big block simply generated more torque than tire technology could contain. The 4-speed Muncie Rock Crusher transmission earned its nickname through duty, managing the LS6's tremendous output. The gearing spread worked reasonably well. The crossmember mounted shifter had tendency to jam between first and second when hard acceleration twisted the drivetrain, stranding drivers with spinning rear tires and nowhere to shift. The chassis represented typical intermediate platform limitations magnified by excessive power. The Chevelle weighed over 3,800 pounds, requiring serious braking effort. The standard drum brakes were completely inadequate. Fade appeared almost immediately during aggressive driving. Even mandatory front disc brakes struggled containing the LS6's momentum during panic stops. The handling characteristics proved merely adequate when driven conservatively and genuinely dangerous when pushed hard. Body roll remained excessive despite suspension upgrades. The steering felt vague at center position. The solid rear axle with leaf springs created wheel hop during hard acceleration. Weight transfer lifted the front end dramatically, reducing steering authority precisely when drivers needed it most. Contemporary magazine testing confirmed the LS6's devastating performance. Hot Rod recorded 13.44 seconds at 108.17 miles per hour. Carcraft managed 13.12 seconds at 107.01 miles per hour. Motor Trend clocked 6 seconds 0 to 60 and 13.8 seconds quarter miles. Every test confirmed what drivers discovered. The LS6 delivered supercar acceleration wrapped in chassis borrowed from family transportation. The danger multiplied when inexperienced drivers encountered the LS6's overwhelming torque. Modern drivers accustomed to electronic traction control, stability systems, and anti-lock brakes cannot comprehend driving machine that delivers 500 pound-feet with nothing intervening between right foot and rear tire destruction. Every throttle input required careful consideration because consequences arrived immediately. Today, LS6 Chevelle represent holy grail of muscle car collecting. Only 4,475 LS6 engines were built for 1970, creating instant rarity. Clean survivors command prices approaching $250,000 at auction. These machines proved that sometimes too much is exactly right amount for creating legends, even when chassis development couldn't keep pace with engine advancement. Number 1, 1970. Plymouth Hemi Cuda. Taking top honors as the most dangerous 70s muscle car ever made is the ultimate Mopar legend. The 1970 Plymouth Hemi Cuda arrived with the legendary 426 Hemi V8, generating 425 horsepower and 490 pound-feet of torque through either 4-speed manual or 3-speed automatic transmission, running the quarter mile in approximately 13.5 seconds at 105 miles per hour. This Cuda combined absolute peak muscle car power with primitive suspension and brake systems, creating beautiful, deadly machine that represented everything thrilling and terrifying about 70s performance. Plymouth redesigned the Barracuda completely for 1970, abandoning valiant roots for dramatic E-body styling that looked like nothing else on American roads. The aggressive stance, long hood, and short deck suggested performance the Hemi absolutely delivered. Only 652 Hemi Cuda hardtops were built for 1970, creating instant rarity that has only intensified over decades. The 426 Hemi displaced exactly 426 cubic inches through hemispherical combustion chambers that revolutionized performance. Dual Carter AFB, 4-barrel carburetors fed massive amounts of fuel and air. 425 horses at 5,000 RPM represented conservative rating, protecting insurance premiums, while true output probably exceeded 475 honest ponies. The HEMI was underrated deliberately. 490 pound-feet of torque at 4,000 RPM created acceleration that overwhelmed traction completely and continuously. The power delivery was violent and relentless. Below 3,000 RPM, the HEMI felt merely quick. Above 3,000, it transformed into something genuinely terrifying that required full attention and both hands. The transition from manageable to dangerous happened instantly, without warning or mercy. The transmission choices offered different flavors of danger. The 4-speed manual required genuine skill managing clutch and shifter, while the HEMI tried destroying tires through every gear. First gear proved almost useless. Launching created either bog or complete wheel spin. Experienced drivers learned starting in second gear, maintaining some control. The 3-speed torque flight automatic made the Cuda slightly more manageable through torque converter multiplication. Absorbing some shock, the chassis represented the fundamental danger. The Cuda weighed nearly 4,000 pounds, requiring tremendous braking effort. The standard drum brakes were laughably inadequate for the Hemi's performance. Even optional front disc brakes struggled, containing momentum during panic stops. From speeds the HEMI achieved effortlessly, fade appeared quickly, and lasted extensively during any aggressive driving. The suspension was borrowed from family cars and completely overwhelmed by the Hemi's power. The torsion bar front suspension and leaf spring rear axle delivered adequate ride quality during normal driving. Aggressive inputs created unpredictable responses that caught drivers completely by surprise. The solid rear axle hopped during hard acceleration, breaking traction unpredictably and violently. The steering offered minimal feedback, leaving drivers guessing about front tire grip levels. The heavy HEMI engine created understeer that required planning corners 3 turns ahead. The combination of substantial weight, primitive chassis, and overwhelming power created a machine that rewarded straight-line acceleration while punishing attempts at direction changes, with consequences ranging from embarrassing to expensive to fatal. The shaker hood scoop dominated visual presence. The massive air cleaner protruded through hood opening, shaking violently with engine vibration, announcing the HEMI's presence unmistakably. The functional ram air induction fed cold outside air directly into carburetors, increasing density and power. Everything about the Hemi Cuda announced dangerous intentions that performance absolutely justified completely. Contemporary testing confirmed the Hemi Cuda's devastating performance and dangerous characteristics. Motor Trend recorded 5.8 seconds 0 to 60 and 14 seconds quarter miles at 102 miles per hour. Cars magazine achieved 13.45 seconds at 105 miles per hour. Every test confirmed what drivers discovered. The HEMI delivered supercar acceleration wrapped in chassis that couldn't contain it safely. The danger multiplied exponentially when inexperienced drivers encountered the HEMI's overwhelming power. No electronic aids intervened. No stability systems corrected mistakes. No traction control prevented wheel spin. Nothing existed between driver decisions and physical consequences. The HEMI Cuda rewarded skill and punished ignorance with immediate feedback that modern drivers cannot comprehend. The limited safety features magnified every danger. Lap belts were standard, while shoulder belts remained optional. No airbags, no crumple zones. No side impact protection. The steering column could impale drivers during frontal impacts. Everything about the Hemi Cuda reflected era when performance trumped safety considerations completely and absolutely. Insurance companies recognized the Hemi's danger-charging premiums that made ownership prohibitively expensive for young drivers who wanted them most. The $871 Hemi option represented massive premium over base engine pricing. Combined with insurance costs, the Hemi Cuda became financial impossibility for most buyers who could only dream about ownership. Production remained intentionally limited by high costs and insurance implications. Only 652 Hemi Cuda hardtops and 14 convertibles were built for 1970. 1971 saw even fewer examples before the HEMI disappeared forever. The rarity created instant collectability that has only intensified over decades. Today, Hemi Cudas represent ultimate muscle car collectability, commanding prices exceeding $1 million for prime examples. Convertibles have sold for over $2 million at auction. The combination of legendary engine, beautiful styling, extreme rarity, and genuinely dangerous performance creates a package that appreciates continuously while maintaining mystique that refuses to diminish. The Hemi Cuda proved conclusively that sometimes too much power creates problems chassis development cannot solve. The primitive suspension, inadequate brakes, and overwhelming engine-created machine that thrilled and killed with equal efficiency. The Hemi Cuda represents absolute peak American muscle car development. The moment when power reached maximum before regulations and insurance killed everything enthusiasts valued. These machines delivered ultimate performance, wrapped in ultimate danger, creating legends that survived because they were genuinely too powerful for their time. These 9 machines represented the dangerous edge of muscle car extremism. Tremendous power delivered through primitive chassis with inadequate brakes and suspensions borrowed from family sedans. They thrilled a generation while teaching painful lessons about physics and consequences. Some killed dreams, others killed drivers. But every single one created legends that refused to die because they represented a moment when American performance peaked before safety and emissions strangled everything. Which of these dangerous legends would you risk driving? Drop your answer in the comments, and if you love stories from the era when horsepower mattered more than survival, hit subscribe for more tales from muscle cars' most dangerous decade.